This woman did not start with glossy billboards or prime TV slots. She started when digital ads were too technical for the average marketeer. Back when search campaigns were a puzzle for many. Today at Yango Ads, she leads the charge with the Middle East and Africa, turning buzzwords like AI, Geo-ads, and retail media into real business impact. She says that one word matters more than anything in marketing. Test, test, test. Learn, adapt, repeat. So we decided to test her.
That's our main objective. Does anyone have questions?
I have something to say.
Go ahead.
There's a Cybertruck waiting for you downstairs.
Cybertruck?
Yes, podcast crew ready.
Yasmina, I'm in a very important meeting. Are you sure this cannot wait?
Just trust me. Head down, it's important.
Okay, fine. Just 2 minutes, I'll be downstairs.
Malika, welcome to our Cybertruck podcast studio.
I didn't expect this.
How are you today?
I'm good. I need my coffee though. Do you have coffees here? Do you serve them?
Well, there's only one thing that Yango doesn't do, which I think is coffee. But I'm pretty sure that if someone suggests it upstairs, they're gonna do it. So don't worry, we're gonna have you the Yango coffee by tomorrow 4 p.m. maximum.
Great. I'm down with that.
Malika, before we start and before we dive into AdTech, give me your elevator pitch.
I'm CBDO of Yango Ads Middle East and Africa, and I help businesses and large organizations to solve their problems.
I know your job basically is about meeting a lot of people every single day. Whenever I see you in the office, you're meeting new people.
Yes, of course.
How do you want people to feel after meeting you?
Inspired.
And do you inspire them?
I try my best. And this is what I love the most, is getting into the nitty-gritty of my clients' challenges, opportunities, problems. I love problem solving. So whenever I go into the meeting, I usually do a lot of thinking before it, a lot of research. So I truly understand what is the landscape, who the client is, what potential challenges I may face. So when I come in, I already know what to talk about.
What was your favorite problem to solve?
My favorite problem to solve? Well, there are many, but one case I particularly loved was how to position Middle East in Saudi. You know, it's a very big festival, the Soundstorm, and we wanted to showcase it to the new audience from emerging markets as cool, outgoing. They had amazing headliners that year, as you had Eminem and whoever, right? But people associated Saudi traditionally just with religious tourism. So what we wanted to do is to kind of infiltrate their day-to-day and make a stunt to get them by the shock that Saudi could be this. And how we've done it is using Geo-ads. It started very intriguing because we created this 3D object of DJ disc, obviously branded in Soundstorm colors and what's not. And when people clicked on it, they had that illusion of transportation from where they are into Middle East.
Wow.
Soundstorm Festival. And immediately they got immersed in the atmosphere. It was insane.
Wow.
And I loved how this idea was actually born right there in the room as we were speaking with the clients. We both had our creative hats on. And the way we were briefing our creative and tech people, we created a screenshot of the map, draw a line and from here to there, make it happen. And it did happen.
So 2 minutes ago, I asked you, do you usually inspire people? And now I know the answer because I feel inspired. I already want to go to Middle East and I didn't even see the ads. So yeah, that sounds super interesting.
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
But speaking about Saudi, you've been in the Middle East for 18 years now. How do you feel about that? Does it feel like it's been 18 years? And what actually made you stay here for this long?
Well, for me, it's home. All my adulthood was here. I came here as a 17 years old, right? So my student years, my career, starting to build a family with my husband's getting to become a parent all happened here. But what made me stay was that from even 20 years ago, I knew that UAE is a place that fosters innovation and there's a lot of opportunity. And you can see that in the companies that rise here.
Yes.
Same as Yango.
Yeah.
The floor is open. There is no limit. The sky is your limit. You can dream big, you can go high. And the market is actually quite advanced in its technology. And we have things here that no one else has, like Kafu. Yeah. There's no market anywhere else that have that sort of capabilities.
That's fair.
And
I say that as a very regular customer of Kafu.
Me too.
They make my life easier.
They make my life so much easier. I'm a busy mom. I'm full on working on my career. So things like that make a big difference.
Yeah.
That's why I felt it even then.
And did you stay in the region for this long change the way that you interact with partners or you do businesses? Did you learn from the culture something that helped you actually do business?
Yeah, of course. Dubai is a very cosmopolitan city and you have cultures from all over the world. Yeah. That's one of the most exciting things about it. This is why I love that my kids are being raised in this environment. So from culture perspective, I can quite confidently say that I'm a blend of a Kazakh girl and a Dubai kid. And probably from the mentality perspective, I'm somewhere where East meet West, because I do have my Eastern roots. I'm a Muslim. I have very strong family traditions because I'm Kazakh. But at the same time, I feel like a Westerner because Dubai is also very Western in many, many ways. And my husband is from Ireland, and
It's just a melting pot.
It's a melting pot. So you kind of learn and treasure all of the different cultural nuances every day. So wherever you go, you probably already interacted with a person from that country.
Yeah.
In some way or another. And you already know something about their culture. So you feel prepared. And this way, I think Dubai gives advantage like no place else.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, so let's go back in time. When did you realize that now advertising is shifting from the traditional ways to digital?
Honestly, it was when social advertising first started. And I don't know if you remember, but in this region, it started not with Meta, but with Twitter ads.
Oh, I had no idea.
Exactly.
I thought Meta was the OG kid.
No, Meta was
back when it was Facebook.
A couple of years after only they've introduced
Wow.
advertising. So I started with Twitter advertising. Twitter was really big. It still is.
Yeah.
And because at the time I was already working on Google Ads at that time, and I knew what the search advertising for everyone. It seems like a rocket science, honestly.
Yeah.
People could not understand that concept.
I think even until today, some people think of it as rocket science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it quite hilarious, but you could probably explain it to a 5-year-old. But nonetheless, they put me in charge of Twitter ads to introduce across all of WSPP group media agencies. And I'm talking regionally.
Yeah.
And we started with 0. And I remember just within a very short period of time, we rose our billing to $500,000.
Wow.
Which seems nothing, right? But at the time, digital was only getting crumbs of advertising budgets. I think at the time there was anywhere a share between 5 to 15% of a standard media plan. So getting a big chunk of that with social media.
I can't even imagine a day where digital was just 5 to 15% of a media plan.
But this is where I started. Wow. And we were fighting for 20%. We were fighting. We were building very strong business cases to get to 30 and so on. But that was, of course, 14 years ago or so.
Yeah.
So that was very different times back then, right? So that probably was the moment when we hit our first $500,000 and it was way above our target. Then I knew it's changed.
Yeah. Was that the case that you felt like there's no going back, or is there any other cases that, you know, from your career that you cannot not think about?
Well, that probably was one of the early ones. I was just like 2 years into my career. But another one that kind of shapes the view of how I started looking at digital advertising and advertising in general was when personalization and AI was first introduced at scale. I already moved to Digitas LBI at the time, and it was very progressive agency when it came to US and London. And of course, as part of being part of the global network, we were exposed to a lot of cases that came from Western markets. And one of which that really inspired me was The Pass You Make by Delta Airlines, where they've tried to harness loyalty for their biggest support group of frequent flyers, and they've created 600,000 videos individually customized to each of that frequent flyer. Of course, they were template based. Of course, they were not as advanced as you could probably do them today. But nonetheless, they were personalized. They did address the miles you flew. They did address the destination you went to most. And that was all done by feeding them the dynamic creative with loads and loads of data, properly organized, properly cleaned.
When was that?
It was 2018.
Wow.
And yeah, that was...
I don't think we heard AI in 2018.
Yeah. But
wow.
Back then, I knew if we can do personalization at this level this fast, the game is changed forever.
Wow. So when I started asking around about you, people told me that your favorite word was test, 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 right?
Yeah.
So where did that belief come from? When did test become the buzzword and the keyword for Malika?
Well, to be honest, I would love to take the credit for this one, but it was a maestro himself, David Ogilvy, who said that the most important word in marketeers' vocabulary is test.
Yeah.
And it was true then, it's true now. You have to test relentlessly, you have to keep adapting, you have to try new technologies, and you have to try new creative and strategies. And that's the only key to winning in marketing.
And I feel like you're in the right place, because one of the most things we do at Yango is test new things every day, test new processes every day, and just test. So I think you're enjoying your life.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yango is a company that makes a lot of bets.
Yeah.
And a lot of winning bets, to be fair. But some of them, of course, might not always deliver the success we hope. Nonetheless, I love this mindset of being daring, being bold, and go all in, because that's really much aligns with my philosophy in life.
When a test fails, what is the process that you follow when you want to decide if you continue down this path or you stop now and cut the losses?
You have to look at the situation, you have to look into the context, you have to reassess, potentially get more expert opinions, and gather more data. That's always would be my approach.
We're going to go slightly more personal. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
What is something that people most often misunderstand about you, either as a person or as a leader at work?
Well, a lot of people think that I'm soft and easygoing.
I don't think that.
Yeah. You read through people. I don't know. A lot of people think that I'm younger than I am.
I think that. Yeah. I think when I met you, I was like, oh, she's so cute. She's young. And then someone told me, oh, she's actually a mother. I'm like, what? Yeah. A mother? How?
Yeah, a lot of people think that I'm younger. Other people get confused about my nationality, and my name doesn't make it easier because I've took my husband's family name. So Malika Kennedy, where is she from? She has an Asian face. She has Arabic or Indian name, and she has an American second name, so family name. Where does she come from?
Do you usually notice when people are confused about that?
They usually ask me where I'm from.
Which is the one thing that I do. Where are you from, Malika?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I always like to address it to get it out of the way so people are listening to what I have to say rather than keep guessing where I'm from.
Yeah. I think it's fun guessing because I guessed everything other than Kazakh married to an Irishman and hence I took his second name and that's why I'm called Malika Kennedy. Yeah. I'm like Kennedy is she related to the Kennedys? Are you related to the Kennedys? I think everyone wants to know.
Well, Kennedy is a very common family name, but I would say we're all related because there's Irish.
So here's basically what we wanted to get out of this whole podcast. We have someone who is related to the Kennedys if anyone has a question about them. Malika, is there a ritual or an activity that you rely on to help you reset before a big campaign?
To be honest, I've done it so many times and experience polishes everything. So usually I'm just like jumping from one task to another and I'm always ready.
You're always ready. So there's nothing that you do, for example, think of your busiest day. You're so busy, you have meetings all day with partners, with internal people, presentations, and you have 15 minutes only to switch or to rest. How do you spend these 15 minutes?
15 minutes to switch and to rest. If it's like in preparation for a big meeting, I'll probably be doing what I do a lot behind the scenes, is getting ready for it by doing the research, understanding who my partners are, who am I speaking to, what's their background. If, let's say, it's a conference where I am to speak and present certain ideas, I'll probably be thinking in my head the scenario or what thoughts and which angles I'm gonna present it. But like to say that they have a certain rituals, I wouldn't say so.
Do you want to ask me about my ritual?
Yeah, sure. I'm curious.
So I just go downstairs, sit in my car, and just stare.
Just there.
Just like 15 minutes of no one speaking to me. These are the 15 minutes I'm gonna breathe. So I just sit down in my car. But the team caught up to that fact.
Really?
Yes. So the last time I was taking my 15-minute break. So basically I was escaping. And then I just looked up and they were there standing outside the car and they're like, we just have one question. So I need now to change it. So if you have any other one where I can escape, let me know. I love your ideas. So think about it and let me know.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Malika, we all know that you wear so many hats at Yango Ads. Which part of it or which hat excites you the most?
Creativity. And when I'm tackling a creative brief where we can bring in innovation, this is what inspires me the most. And I love clients who are ready for it. I love clients who are daring and come to me with ideas or say, hey, we want to win an award. What can we do? And then we start brainstorming, we start exchanging ideas. This part I enjoy the most.
Vastly. Okay, and the markets that you serve or you work with are, UAE, Saudi, the campaigns in Egypt, Jordan, Oman. Which market surprised you the most?
Every market is unique in its own right. And however, there are a lot of intercultural nuances and links that connect them. This is what I love about me in the region. But I wouldn't say that, hey, I was the most shocked here. One thing that I will highlight, when I first went to Saudi, I was an awe of Saudi women because in our world, a lot of men take a lot of spotlight. They're always on the stage. They're always out there. You hear them on conferences. You hear them all across social media, LinkedIn, etc. So women, they didn't get as much spotlight. And because I worked predominantly in the UAE as a hub, and we interacted with a lot of the like hub offices, such as Riyadh's one as well, but we weren't so much meeting a lot of like local teams face to face when I was in Publicis Group or WPP. Saudi women left me naive because when I hit Riyadh on ground for the first time, and I met amazing, smart, fierce, super experienced experts, I was duly impressed. And I wanted to work well with them for sure.
I feel like not just Saudi women, but Arab women specifically in the region are finally getting their spot. And because they weren't in the spot for so long, so people get this impression that they might not be ready for the spot, or they still have time to catch up, but that's not the truth. You meet a lot of brilliant women that have conquered industries for years and years, and it's honestly just inspiring.
100%, I agree.
Okay, there's a campaign that I heard a lot about, and honestly I was also super impressed by it, and it's Toyota's Journey into Her Stories campaign. Malika, how did you make this happen?
It's a beautiful campaign, thank you. And the sentiment behind it was to commemorate the beautiful, brilliant Emirati women that a lot of people don't know so much about, though we've been living in Dubai for years. So as we were driving past the famous Emirati women streets, such as Sheikh Hassa Street, a lot of people didn't know about Hassa, right? So we used our geofencing technology with Yango Maps to subtly educate them.
Wow.
So as they were driving, there will be a very subtle banner that will pop up at the bottom of the screen, prompting them to learn more about her story. And as you know, as any Dubai resident, we all experience very long traffic jams.
Yeah, which is the perfect time for education.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a perfect time for education. So as they're driving, we're educating them.
Yeah.
And if they are in traffic, only then the prompts appears, and then can click on it and learn more about Sheikh Hassan and her monumental contributions to UAE's education systems, and learn more about the inspiring women behind the streets we pass on every day.
This campaign, I believe, was in partnership with Al Futtaim Motors, right?
Yes.
But it has a very significant, cultural importance as well.
100%.
How did you measure the success of a campaign like this beyond, impressions and clicks? Because it's nothing traditional. You're educating people in traffic. How did you measure the success of it?
Well, of course you can measure the traditional media metrics that were phenomenal, but most importantly, it's also been recognized by the industry. We won Smartest Silver Award, but the larger campaigns that include all of the different placements actually won Grand Prix on EFIS.
Wow.
Yeah. We weren't involved because we're only one placement, of course, and we were very innovative, but we were contributing to that big win too.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've said that test at scale also applies to AI automation. How is AI changing your life at work?
Of course, it makes a lot of our lives easier. Yeah. We have to admit, and I always treat AI as my co-pilot that helped me do certain tasks much quicker. And a lot of people don't realize, but we've been actually relying on AI much longer before it was a buzzword.
Yeah.
I started marketing in the day where there were no bidding strategies, where we had to open our dashboard in the morning and look at the data and decide which keywords, which ad groups we're going to change the bids for. And that was done completely manual. And that was painful because we ran like hundreds of campaigns and you had to do it for all of them. And when bidding strategies were introduced, which is basically AI-based machine learning for the first time, that opens so much more resource for strategic thinking.
Yeah.
So we could think bigger, we could aim higher, and made the campaign so much more efficient.
But they worry about blind automation, where AI will just run wild without human oversight.
There are a lot of serious talk about this. And what I want to highlight, it actually makes me happy that all of the big tech guys, tech gurus, such as like Elon Musk, who's not, are very highly advising on making sure there's always certain regulations in place to forbid this to happen, because they understand the risk. But even then, the AI progressions is growing exponentially at this stage, right? Which also tells us that we're so behind for that to happen, that there will be years before that actually becomes a threat. And the key is that all of the big techs already thinking about that and creating certain regulations in place to prevent this puts me in ease. So I do believe that AI is very beneficial for the humankind in terms of how it stores, researches, multiplies knowledge. But there is no point in human history where it should be completely left to its own right. There always should be certain algorithms and regulations in place to make sure that it's safe to use for the future generations. Not even for ours, but for the future.
There are a lot of people who say that AI is going to take all of our jobs.
No, I don't believe that. I think that AI will evolve a lot of jobs. Certain jobs, of course, they kind of go out of date. Like, you know, when the Industrial Revolution first happened, and a lot of factory workers, they used to manually be part of that factory, were left out of jobs because the automation and machines took place. Nonetheless, that skillful force transforms into something else that progresses further into the technology. So my take on this is that a lot of jobs will evolve and a lot of new jobs will be created. Because the bigger the common and joint knowledge of the humanity, the more opportunities there are.
That's true. What is the hardest part of convincing retailers into implementing retail media?
It's education and motivation. When we're talking about big retailers, there's those, how would I say, giant corporations that are very set in their own ways and how they use business, how they drive business. And it takes a lot of resource and effort to get them transformed inside, to start monetizing their digital space, and not only digital, offline too. So the hardest part would be always to get them not just sell it to the top tier. That, of course, would be quite easily convinced when we say, hey, here's your cost center, which is digital now, could become a revenue generation, an extra arms that you feel to source for marketing, but to sell it on every level.
Yeah.
Because a big corporation is like well-oiled machine. You need every bolt to be rightly working for retail media to truly shine. So to sell it on different layers within different parts of their organizations, be it operations, be it finance, be it marketing, is the more complicated and complex transformations that needs to happen.
Yeah. What is the part of your job that is the most draining, but no one sees?
It's getting ready for the meetings. I have the need to have everything perfect. And I always like to have an educated, well-positioned, well-researched conversations with my clients. So there are endless hours of preparation for every meeting before I go in. It's research about their business, as I mentioned, the competitive landscapes, brainstorming ideas, thinking about examples to get the idea across, understanding who will be the people and what could potentially motivate, what's their background. All of that happens when no one sees us, for sure.
And how do you personally recharge after, being drained for hours or days?
My family is my backbone. So one of the favorite things I like to do at the end of the tough day is to manage to get home in time. This is very important. To get to put my kids to bed and read bedtime stories to them.
Have you kids ever asked you, Mommy, what do you actually do?
They actually think that my work is a playground because every time I took them to the office for Yango Kids Fest,
Yes.
they think it's a whole big
Oh my
play.
God. You know how many times I wished that, I had a nephew or a niece or a kid to take, or if they actually allow us in, because I see the pictures of the Kids Fest and I'm like,
It's amazing.
Keep the toys. Keep the toys. This is where I want to work. It's amazing. So, of course, they think this is your everyday.
Yes, of course. They're 4 and 5. So for them, they think that mommy goes to have fun. And I do have fun.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But not in the playground.
Yeah, not in the playground.
Geo-ads are getting a very big push right now. What is the most impressive example of Geo-ads that you've seen?
They're an interesting format, right? Because there's so much in the right context where a person is. Probably the most inspiring is the ones I already told you for Middle East Soundstorm. But I'm yet to see another example of more connected ecosystem journey. And we're actually baking something. And hopefully soon I'll be able to share a more impressive example.
When it comes to Geo-ads, where do you draw the line between effective and helpful tracking and creepy tracking?
Well, generally, when we're talking about advertising, right, it's very important to have a very clear distinction. When the advertising is relevant and helpful for Mason and people like her, this is good because, hey, you're serving me ads I want to see. But when the ad is very specific to Mason and only hers, then it's bad because that's creepy.
Yeah, and it would have the opposite effect because I feel like someone is creeping out on me, and of course I don't want to get involved with them.
Yeah, I had an example when I just got to know that I was pregnant, and I texted someone about it, and then suddenly on Instagram I see everything baby-like, when obviously I didn't scroll or research anything regarding babies and I know how advertising was. That freaked me out.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is where the line is crossed.
Yes. And, imagine that it freaked you out when you are an expert in that field. So imagine how, normal, average, non-marketeers feel when they feel like, someone is creeping out or like reading all of their messages. It's so creepy.
It is creepy.
Yeah. I had to explain to my parents how this works. And they were like, oh no. And I think for a period of time, like my father just stopped texting about his interests. So he doesn't get creeped out. Okay, you've said that the UAE and Saudi are two buzzing markets. But what is another market that people are sleeping on?
I think about Oman and Pakistan a lot because you can see that they're quite forthcoming in terms that they developed. And a lot of people see them as the underdogs because big corps are not present there. But the market is actually super valuable. It might be small in terms of like population, like Oman. However, the GDP per capita is there almost as powerful as UAE. So it tells you something about the audience, right? Yeah. And Pakistan has been fostering a lot of innovations, and they're a very competitive market. They're a very busy market. There is a lot of noise, and it's very sensitive audience from cultural perspective, from price points perspective. So it's a very hard market to crack and win. And some big corp who went in, they couldn't crack it, but we're doing just fine there.
I think maybe one key to why we're doing really well, thank God, in Yango Pakistan was the fact that, our teams are local.
Oh, 100%.
Yes. So
you need to understand the market for sure. It's not your usual market. It's like as busy as India, but it's not Indian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't come into it with the right mindset.
Yeah.
And for every market, you have to localize. But in certain markets, you have to put more effort into it.
Type, speaking of localization, if you're going into a pitch, do you usually adjust your pitch if you are in Dubai or you're in Cairo or in Lahore?
Yeah, of course.
But what are the biggest differences? What are the biggest changes you make to your pitches?
Probably it's addressing cultural nuances and setting in my conversation examples that will be relevant culturally and to the business case.
Yeah. Again, back to localization. What do you think is the mistake that international teams do the most when they're entering this region or trying to conquer it?
A lot of people think that we're behind.
Yeah.
We're not behind.
They get shocked.
They get shocked. They get shocked big time. And the bar is very, very high in this region when it comes to marketing and service and a lot of other things.
Yeah. And maybe that's why some international teams fail, because other than the fact that they don't localize, they haven't done the research on the market. They think that we are behind and they come here, they're not prepared to serve this market, and then they fail.
Yeah, 100%.
What's different about being a leader in the Middle East other than the other regions?
There's a melting pot on nationalities and cultures here in the Middle East. So you have to be quite sensitive to cultural nuances, and you have to be quite flexible and understand that as a leader, you have to adapt when you lead a certain group. And there are certain things about me, I'm quite straightforward, that I have to tone down when I'm speaking to some people that are not used to it.
Yeah.
And other times I have to be a bit tougher when I'm leading with some other people. So I guess it depends.
I think it takes practice, but I think you've nailed it.
Well, I try.
Okay. The apps you can't live without.
Instagram, ChatGPT, Google.
A book or a podcast that you've listened to recently.
Atomic Habits by James Clear, where with only 1% change every day, you can become 4 times the person in a year.
The wildest AdTech idea you've heard this year.
Targeted dream incubation.
What the hell is that?
Oh my God, this is insane. Basically, it's developing a technology a little bit like hypnosis.
Okay.
Where a certain sound is played for audience, let's say, as they go throughout the day. Coors, which is like a beer brand, did that in US, and basically plays that sound at the end of the day that will make you dream about their product.
What?
I know, it's insane, and I think it's highly unethical. But this is the wildest idea I've heard of.
I think some ideas should stay ideas.
Actually, there's been a lot of regulations since then.
Yes, there should be. Imagine brands paying to be part of my dreams when I just want to rest and sleep.
I know.
Crazy.
Especially if we're talking about substances. Alcohol should not be put into your dreams like
my
this. This is
God.
so unethical.
Oh my God! Now we're gonna finish this podcast, and I'm gonna go do research and make sure that I don't hear any sound.
It's worse. Think about it. We all have smart devices in our house.
Yes, so it's gonna be easier to do it.
Infiltrate it.
Yes.
To play the sound as you go into sleep.
Oh my God! Where are we going with this? Oh my God! Now my dreams are ad space. Oh my God! So how do you measure this? Like, oh, today we achieved 1 million views.
It's mostly a gimmick. I don't think it's so easily effectively placed.
I hope
But even they've done it more as a stunt. But I think they actually open a Pandora box.
Yeah.
I personally think that box should stay forever closed.
Yes. Again, some ideas should just remain as ideas.
Exactly.
We don't need to execute everything.
Exactly.
Yes.
I agree.
When you hit a setback, who's the first person you call?
My husband.
Best advice you've ever received?
Growth starts at the age of your comfort zone.
Wow. Maybe it will be the best advice that I've received as well.
Guess who gave it to me?
Who?
My husband.
This podcast is sponsored by Malika's husband.
The company.
Kennedy. Malika, what is one piece of wisdom you'd pass to the next generation?
Start early and do it. You're never ready.
Wow. If you could send one tweet to the world, one tweet only, what would it say?
Live the moment.
Guilty pleasure snack during long campaign nights.
Bag of chips.
Which flavor?
Just salt.
Okay, that's, by the way, the correct answer. You've gotten it right. One thing you Google more than you should.
Oh, one thing I Google more than I should. Hard one. I don't know. I know. I Google restaurants a lot.
Oh,
Oh my God. If we are to go for restaurants, I Google them, have a look at their pictures,
the reviews.
and only then I pick. Like,
So this takes so long. So even, when it comes to your personal life, you also take a lot of time to research and prepare and be ready with the pitch.
I know my husband goes crazy whenever we go traveling, and my view on this, on my holiday, every meal should be perfect.
Wow.
So I have to.
I mean, you're correct. Imagine if you waste the whole vacation on restaurants that all happen to be shit.
I know, right?
You need to prepare. You're right.
You need to have
But honestly, I leave my husband to do this. I just trust him.
live in a spot. My husband, he's very simple. He likes his beer and chicken wings. So as long as we put that on the trip at least 1 or 2 times, he is happy. For me, I need to make my research. That's probably the most search.
By the way, we're very similar because I make sure we always go to a restaurant that serve chicken strips. So I'll be having my burrata salad and my husband will be having chicken strips. Yeah. So I think this is a universal thing at this point.
Yeah.
If you weren't in advertising, which career you'd pick?
I'll probably be a restaurateur.
Oh.
My dad owned a restaurant when I was growing up. He's no longer in the business, but I love that. And I love cooking, which I discovered only after I started having kids. When I got pregnant, I couldn't take takeout anymore.
Yeah.
I needed homemade food. And then I started experimenting with cooking, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I also cook with my children ever since they were like 1.
Oh. Do you ever think of maybe having your own cooking show with your kids?
Oh, that would be so awesome. And
Our cameras are ready. So just bring your kids.
I will.
Yango play content.
Ryan, he is so funny. He loved being filmed. He's
Oh.
like, Mama, film me how I dance. Mama, film me here. And then he likes watching video himself.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
These are the type of talents that we need. Bring him by the office. I'm ready.
I will, for sure.
Okay, do you know that we listen and we don't judge?
Sure.
Okay, so I don't need to explain it to you.
No, I got it.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. No, you have to say it with me.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. We listen and we don't judge.
Okay, when it was COVID, I just gave birth to my first child, and I was working a lot from home. So there was some internal meetings with camera off when I was breastfeeding my son.
I mean, that's okay. I can understand that. Okay. We listen and we don't judge. When I was in COVID, I told my husband that we need to move to a bigger house because I need more space for my wardrobe. But the truth is, I couldn't take seeing him the whole day, all day next to me. So we needed separate rooms. We were living in a 1-bedroom and now we live in a 2 bedrooms for this specific reason. I hope he doesn't taste this.
Okay,
We listen and we don't judge.
Oh, there was one mistake, not actually done by me, but I was a big part of its consequences. When I went on holiday, my manager, she was quite new to digital advertising. So she launched one campaign on YouTube and she put the wrong 0. So the campaign spent 10 times it was supposed to spend.
Oh my.
When we came back from holidays, it was a whole scandal. And
But this is the one thing that you check 1,000 times.
I know.
The spending. How does someone make this mistake? And it was your manager?
Yes. And the funny part, because she didn't understand digital advertising that well. She said that it was me who did this mistake. I said I was on holiday, but she insisted. And then I just went into this account history, took a screenshot. That was her account.
Oh
That
my
made
God.
that change.
Yeah, as you should.
Yes,
As you should.
But that experience of the whole
Oh my God.
of like management.
At least own the mistake.
I know.
That you did it.
But this is like mistakes in digital. They happen all the time. Overspends, underspends, under-deliveries, wrong targeting.
But you know, there's a very, very big difference between $10,000 and $100,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this one makes me cringe because how it was handled. Only because of this. Everything else was fine. We dealt with this.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. We listen and we don't judge.
I fear and hate all kind of insects, including butterflies. They make me.
Oh, I hate butterflies. You hate butterflies.
Well, when they fly around me, they're like, okay, fine. But when they're up close, I freak out. And my children, they're curious little boys, and I don't pass my fears to them. And our nanny, she's very like exploring. So sometimes they come home with like, I don't know, a cockroach or
my God.
a beetle or a spider. It's like, mommy, look.
It's a gift to you, mommy.
And I have to
Pretend like you're okay.
I'm okay. I try very hard. It's like, get it out of the house. Darling, they need to live in the wild.
Yes,
They need to live in the
Oh.
wild.
So, oh my God, I just realized that's what my mom used to tell me. So she was actually scared.
Oh, scared.
Oh, now it all makes sense. Okay. 1, 2, 3. We listen and we don't judge.
So one time we went to Miral for a meeting, and Miral has offices in Ferrari World.
Yep.
And just passing by, they said, why don't we go for the fastest ride and have fun? I'm not adept on crazy rides, especially when I'm in my business attire, in my heels, and I went onto this huge roller coaster that put me upside down.
Oh my God. But you went prepared, right? Like,
I didn't
you
expect
know
this.
Yeah, but like knowing you, I don't know. Maybe you would have expected something crazy, and at least they didn't take you to like a water park. If you think about it.
Yes.
Yes. You know.
But I had fun.
Okay.
I had fun. I enjoyed it.
At least you had fun. You have a story to
My
tell.
hair was a little bit messy afterwards, but it was okay.
That's okay. Okay. So now we're gonna go to the last thing, which is IQ tests or riddles. New theme for advertising. So I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm bought by advertisers, ignored by users, but celebrated when clicked. Who am
Well,
I?
it could be any digital ad, honestly. A banner ad, a social media ad, a video ad.
What's your favorite app?
Favorite ads? Product placement.
Me too.
Good product
Me
placement.
too, by the way. That's my favorite type of ad because, you know, I work in content.
Yeah, but I find that's the most natural.
The more data you take, the more you leave behind. Who am I?
Digital footprint?
Yeah. I start with impressions, but I end with conversions. Who am I?
Oh. A campaign funnel?
Yes, that's true. If content is king, I'm the crown that makes it shine.
Always creative.
That's correct.
Creativity is a new targeting.
I measured in seconds, but I decide if your ad is working or not. Who am I?
Attention span?
That's true.
Very hard to
get.
4 seconds. You only got 4 seconds.
Yeah. So, Malika, before we end, just one more question. If you had one message or one thing to say to every young marketeer and founder in the Middle East, what would it be?
I would say for a founder, solve one problem at a time and solve it well, rather than try to do everything at once. I really like the F1 movie, so I'm gonna say smooth is fast, slow, but it's fast at the same time. And for marketeers, my philosophy stands on point: test, and do it at scale.
Thank you so much, Malika. And we're so sorry we parachuted on you today and we stole you from your meetings. This was our podcast with Malika today. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to share, subscribe, and like, and talk about it with your friends. This is it, and see you in the next episode.